We as content creators, sure, but I mean, like, everyone, right? Like, just look at any forum, like new Reddits for these new games. Just go like PC Games or /r MMORPG. A lot of different forums, Discords. Dude, like, whenever a new game is announced, we hype it up. Now, why is that? Why do we do that? And especially for online games and mainly MMOs, why? So, myself, I like to do it because I am a content creator, and obviously, like, I get to create content on like these new games. Sure, I get to play them, but I also get to speculate about them. And I went to school for game design, and I've been reviewing games for a while here, so I like to go a little bit harder, a little bit harsher, and it's kind of fun because most of my peers generally don't do that, and it's just cool to kind of review a game before it's out, because that's a silly concept in itself. It's just fun. It's just fun to do that. It's fun to talk about games as they're coming out, how they're launching themselves, and speculate what it could be like. And especially with online games, it's really important to see how they are publishing themselves, how they're advertising and what their plans and ideas are for the future, because that's all an online game ever is, actually. An online game is always in the future. It's always persistent, always on. It's a service. It's not just a one and done thing. So how we see a game as it's launching might be a little bit telling of how it might be later on, and sometimes completely not the case. And it's entirely possible to be totally wrong about a game. It's entirely possible that the hype actually misleads a lot of players, which was the case for Bless Online. Even though I went and actually played it myself, I got invited to play it before anybody else did. They showed us very specific parts, and they I would dare say they lied to us. I would dare say that. I'm pretty sure most of you guys would agree, but yeah, it just seemed very shady. And a lot of games are like that. Ashes of Creation has some shade around it. Crowfall's got some shade around. Like, basically every upcoming game, if you poke through it, there's going to be some negatives and some things that are shady throughout pretty much anything, any online game, I think, at least as of right now. Some are actually more better than others in terms of being more honest and outright, allow us to test it easier to get into. But I mean, for the most part, though, a lot of online games, a lot of these new games, you got to buy into them. It's a lot of money to buy into them, and they keep changing up mechanics, and you don't know. Are they just trying to make money, or are they trying to make a better game? You can't really know as the average consumer, but regardless, we like to hype up these games, and it's because they're beautiful ideas. I mean, that's really it. It's like we want these games to exist. We want them to exist at least in a playable, decent enough state. We like these ideas, even if we're not going to support it financially, even if we're not going to really even play the game, it still means something good for the genres. So we have a lot of sci-fi MMO coming up, we got a lot of sandbox MMO, a lot of PvP MMO, and these are all genres that were niche, whatever, internet. Come on, don't crucify people. Okay, language is fluid. Anyways, so a lot of niche MMO coming up to be like the most popular, seemingly at least the most popular in terms of development. So we're getting a lot of really cool ideas and concepts, and a lot of nostalgic ideas that have been passed over. And it's just ideas. It's just really cool ideas that we want to see come to life. That is why people are hyping up the games, because it's not really hyping up the developer. It's not hyping up the actual literal singular game. It's really hyping, and I'm gonna say, oh my god, I say that word a lot. I mean, it's like my motto, keep the hype alive. But still, it's energizing the entire community of that subgenre and of the umbrella genres. So if we're talking about MMOs, guys, it's like, finally, here's an MMO that can, bring it back into the spotlight, which Ashes of Creation is doing, and Crowfall's following behind that. So we have these games that actually just their ideas, the very concept at a foundational level is exciting and is important, I think, for the entire gaming spectrum of the community, our economy, our ecology. It's like everything. It kind of means a little bit. And if you think it doesn't mean something, I don't think you quite understand how online games work, because it's community focused. And so whenever you see a lot of community members hyping up the community and you think it's just, it's just for views, it's just because you're a fanboy, you're a fanatic. It's not quite like that. It's not as specific as that. There's something a little bit more epic and grand behind those ideas, I think, but then again, I do it for views, and so and sometimes I do fanboy over games. I mean, hey, that happens too. And that's actually kind of a little bit of a detriment. Somebody like me, who I want to hype up a game like Ashes of Creation, just did a video where I literally say nothing but hype. But then I also do want to criticize it, because I am hyped. And then you do have that sort of circle jerk, old vanguard that wants to protect that game. They were there since the beginning. They were, in the forums every day, and they don't want any negativity surrounding the game, so they'll crush it, And I definitely understand why people don't like people getting sugar-coated and sugary over games when you can't really see them too much. So, you want to be objective, you want to review the game as it's launching, and I totally get that. But here's the thing, guys, as somebody who totally gets that, trust me, you should see my videos. They get pretty harsh. you should also watch all of my videos because some of them get really fucking sugary. Because imagine that, guys. People, especially maybe a video game critic, might have nuanced opinions about a video game, especially one in a genre as fluid as online, massively multiplayer games. Yeah, so I think it's cool, you know, be excited for a game. Even if a game, it does seem shady, even if a game maybe failed in some other areas before, even if a game might actually, and you know it as fact, be like a mixed review game. It's not a great game, you see the problems, you see the faults, but it's still okay to be excited for that. Because once again, as I say in so many videos, a video game, an online game, an MMO is not just its physical self, it's the community. It is the event, the day one launch. Have you ever just been to a day one launch event for anything? It's sometimes not even really about the product. It's about the community surrounding it. I remember I went to, my first day one was like a Naruto fighting game. And I've never even played a Naruto fighting game before that. I just wanted to go, I wanted to embrace the community, and the community embraced me. And sometimes that's what people are looking for. They're looking for a place to fit in, to kind of be absorbed by and begin to learn how to absorb this sort of product or service. They want to learn, they want to get into it, and day ones and launch events are the way to do it. If you're a content creator especially, which most people are today, if you're a content creator, if you're trying to get into guilds, if you're trying to jump in and really join any one thing, it doesn't even have to be online games, but like day ones or these pre-launch events, or, you know, just watching YouTube videos of these games like Ashes of Creation coming out, you can communicate with everybody in the comments below. You can communicate and maybe even play with them if you back the game, if you get into the betas, and you can make real friends. You can have real adventures, real experiences. And so all of that goes into the idea of, hey, maybe I want to hype up this game. Hey, I saw this video. Hey, have you seen Ashes of Creation? Do you know what it's trying to do? Oh man, let me tell you. There is so much going on that it's just much more than what is showing up on the bullet point, you know, little feature list of these games on Kickstarter. It's more than what you see in the trailers. There's so much more going on, and that's why people are hyping it up, why they spit at the screen so excited, you know, in YouTube videos, which I do that. And it's also at the same time why people are so critical sometimes and so mean and negative, but this video is focused on the hype. So, first and foremost, guys, I tear games apart, but I also build them up. I literally am an influencer, and I try to influence you guys to play games that I think you guys should play. So it's, you know, there's a spectrum of human emotion and opinion, and the one that I love focusing on, which is hype, you know, keeping the hype alive. That's what I say pretty much every single video. I think it's a beautiful thing. And for online games especially, which, you know, man, this past year or 2 years, we've seen so many games literally die, literally get canceled and removed. And with this sort of, I guess, newfound common knowledge, at least, online games aren't forever. They aren't this forever physical, you know, AAA game that you can just plug in or, you know, slap into your NES or whatever. It's not going to be the same thing all the time forever. And sometimes you might not actually be able to play on that day, maybe, or ever again. Online games, you know, the experience is going to vary, and sometimes they end. I think actually we now know that they will end. At least the vanilla experience that you loved or would want to have. And if you join in late, you know, nobody's playing, or maybe you're just too late, period, and the game is gone forever, and you entirely missed out on something maybe potentially historic, or something that could have been monumentally influential for you in your personal life. And that's kind of sad. So even if a game looks bad, it could be bad, it might be bad, it's always kind of awesome to see what they're trying to do. See what they, you know, even if it's lies, even if you know it's lies, there's still some fun to be had there. Even if you're poking at it, prodding at it, you know, criticizing it, or if you are hyping it up, you know, you're excited about what it means, what it could be. I think it's important to still do those things and say those things for maybe new games coming out, new developers, new players who might be excited to play games that are similar and etc. Like, I think it's just important. If you feel something and you're emotional about it and you're passionate, right, you should throw it out there. You should put that out there, even if it sounds like an echo chamber, which I always complain about, the circle jerk of just hyping up games and the circle jerk of just dissing games. I think that, you know, you should try to be more unbiased and try to explain all of your feelings, but there's nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong with being excited, genuinely wanting to be happy, want to engage a community and putting out something positive into the world, or what you imagine to be positive. There's nothing wrong with that. And so as a content creator to another content creator, from an MMO player